Hey everybody, welcome to Armchair Authority episode 9. With me today are your usual suspects, Edward and Robert, but today we have actually a fourth member, a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James.
So yeah, we brought James on. He's going to be talking to us about some finance stuff as well as some privacy things as well. So the format today is going to be a little bit different. Our politics and gaming section are going to be a little bit shortened to make room for the other stuff. But starting off, I'm going to pass it over to Robert to go over the politics section first. So take it away.
But before we do that, we should also point out that we're playing Civilization 6 while we do that, because just another thing to change up.
That's true. We're trying a bunch of different things.
Yeah, we might be a bit distracted, so if you thought the awkward silence was bad before, just get ready. Buckle in.
Well, hopefully our fourth member can speak up a little bit more and fill in the gaps, huh?
Hopefully. But anyway, so yeah, the Mueller report has been released, the censored version of it. We're not going to talk too much about it because it's too important for the likes of us. But so I would just say go out and find it. Although the two halves of it are each like hundreds of megabytes each, I heard, or something like that. Or just they're big documents, so just go read it. But
I mean, it's kind of a big report too for like saying that there's inconclusive evidence.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But yeah, it still doesn't look great for Trump.
No. I mean, people are trying to spin it too on Obama as well, right? Trying to say that he didn't actually do anything to counteract this.
Yeah, that's probably a fair criticism.
It is. It is a fair criticism.
Yeah.
But anyways, aside from that, we'll just leave it all for you guys to peruse at your own time, since it's quite a hefty topic. But
I met Edward.
What?
Yes?
In the game, I met Edward.
No. But yeah.
Yes. Next up is
Assange.
Assange. Julian Assange has been arrested in the last couple weeks because he had been holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London for the last almost 7 years. And yeah, they finally, perhaps they got sick of him, or perhaps it was that the new regime in Ecuador traded him for favors with the U.S. government.
I mean, he also seems pretty crazy, right? Just from the photos that you've seen of him skateboarding in like the hallways, and then like I think there was a picture of him like eating on the bed, and it was like some kind of weird mess that was going on there. So yeah, the pictures did not paint a good image of him, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you were stuck, if you had sentenced yourself to prison, like sentence to avoid prison, wouldn't you go kind of nuts too?
Sure, I can agree with that point, yeah. So, I think, in terms of what exactly did he do, because it's kind of confusing, right? In terms of what he's actually been charged with.
What he's been charged with, or what did he do in general?
I think both, probably.
Okay, well, so
Let's start with what he did in general.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's the guy behind WikiLeaks, which originally was just a way of releasing like whistleblowing documents. Because so there was just, in particular, he was not a fan of the U.S.
Right.
And so that's part of why then he did what he is being charged with, of helping Chelsea Manning release, or he's being charged with helping Chelsea Manning like hack into the system or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the definition of hack is something like unauthorized access. So it's...
Don't they use that for a lot of things?
Yeah.
To like throw on like larger sentences on for people?
Yeah, that seems to be like a thing that they've done before. Although,
Like I know Aaron Swartz, the co-founder of Reddit, he wanted to make like scientific journals public, so he downloaded a bunch of them and posted them for free. And the Department of Justice said that they were going to put him away for life for that unauthorized access thing. And he killed himself in prison because, like, his life was over, and then they dropped all charges.
I see. It's pretty terrible, given that option, but maybe. So I think that moves us to the next thing, right? Of what he did actually.
So he was charged with like, it was like helping hack into the system or something, and he was also charged in Sweden with like rape or sexual assault or something. Now there's been some controversy of how realistic those or how likely those charges were to have been earned, because there was just is it just because of he needs to be shut up or whatever, or did he actually do it?
I mean, there's always going to be that, doubt.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's just very hard to discern what the actual truth is, so sometimes you just gotta,
That is
go with what you know best.
One issue I had with sort of was how he acted in terms of how he released information. Is he was very quick to release information on Democrat candidates, but he seemed to be very hesitant about releasing information about like Republican candidates, and you sort of create this dynamic where this one dude ends up having quite a bit of influence over elections, right?
See,
like if he wants to be the transparent god, then it seems like he should release all of his information.
One thing someone was arguing, which for all I know is just another Russian troll, was just that what if he was only fed the stuff on the Democrats and not the Republicans?
I think he's like made statements though, sort of referencing that he does have information, but he didn't want to release it.
Well, he did, but I would have thought that his whole because he was threatened, he had a dead man switch, which I thought that was threatened to be released if he ever lost internet access, but Ecuador took away his internet quite a while ago, a couple years ago.
Although, is he actually trying to be a god? Is that like a hyperbole? Is he? I mean, all humans have their like biases and all that. Is he really trying to do that, or is it just?
Well, he presents himself as someone who's trying to give all of the information to the people. He sort of presents himself as like this unbiased source. But if he's only giving information about one side, then yeah.
That's true. That's true. I guess like as the founder of WikiLeaks, that's like the image that he presents.
Yeah.
But I guess human nature is too hard to overwrite. Anyways.
Certainly didn't help that Hillary threatened to drone strike him. Allegedly. I don't think that's something confirmed.
Yeah.
But that gives us a good segue into the privacy talk with James here. So I think Edward is the one who is most curious about that, so I'll pass it over to him and see what question he has for our guest.
So James, I hear, not that I've been spying on you or anything, but I hear that you're very interested in privacy.
Yes,
in the
that's true.
modern age. Like, what do you find so important about privacy?
I don't know. I think it's just like a fundamental right that is kind of trampled by a bunch of people, and don't think that's right.
What do you think would be like some potential consequences if maybe having like less privacy? Like, what bad thing would you anticipate happening?
Well, I guess off the top of my head, there's always I don't know, people relate to money the most, for example. So you could be charged more for your health insurance just based on I don't know, like your Google searches, which I don't think is right. Or I know Amazon does this. If you search for an item and then you come back a bit later, they'll bump the price up if you have like your cookies enabled on your computer. That's just another.
I think airlines do that too.
They do.
Yeah, airlines do as well. Do that, yeah.
Yeah, or also for health insurance, say paying more if they found something bad in your genome, which is why I'm not doing the whole 23andMe or the other genetic testings.
Yeah, those DNA companies. I know one of them recently shared like their entire database with the FBI without like they don't need consent to do it because you gave them your
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah,
Like-
that one always creeps me out, for sure. But,
Yeah, so like I think didn't they find some killer or match the DNA from a long ago crime because one of their relatives had done it?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I've heard that happening. So
what if it was like possible to like replicate someone's DNA and then they could just plant your DNA evidence next to like crime scenes and stuff?
that too.
You have to be careful with these things. Um, are there any activities from? Are you more worried about private corporations or like the government? Which one do you think is more concerning?
I think both because the government records everything you do online.
Yeah, the whole data center out in Utah.
Yeah.
Um, what do you find to be like the most intrusive thing that's going on? Like if you could change like one like policy that you find really intrusive, what do you think you would change? You're supposed to be like-
policy. I don't know. I guess I wish people cared more.
Yeah.
If that counts. Yeah.
How
See,
much do you
Most
want people
are
to
just
care?
like,
though?
oh, they already have all this information, so why does it matter anyway?
Yeah,
How
what do you
much do
say
you
to
want
people
people to
that think
care,
it's a
though?
lost cause?
What's up?
Edward, go ahead.
Like, what would you say to people that think that it's just sort of a lost cause at this point?
It's not a lost cause, and being apathetic doesn't really help, I guess.
Well, I guess how far do you think people should care about their privacy? Like, should they just go live out in a shack somewhere?
No, I think
with
that's extreme, but I
wooden-
think there's like small steps you can take to protect your privacy that like anybody can do.
For example.
Let me think. I don't know, like having like your cookies not enabled or like use private browsing, VPN.
Mm.
Those are things I can think of.
I was using a VPN for a while, but it just on my phone. I still use it on my laptop, I think. But on my phone, it was just annoying.
It drains your battery on the phone, right?
Yeah, and my phone battery's already absolutely terrible.
Do you really use your VPN for like all of your browsing?
I had it for all of my browsing, just because it was easier to not. Well, I had to turn it off for Pokemon Go. Then I've also stopped playing that. So
What's the importance of turning off cookies? What do cookies do?
A lot of like websites to like track you like all across. So like Facebook could see that you're on like let's say Home Depot's website, and then they can start serving you ads for house improvements. I don't know what you buy at Home Depot.
yeah, but yeah, the reason they exist is because they can be quite useful. It's just the website knows stuff about you and whatnot. But
Do you use Tor at all or no?
For
Do
me,
you think that's
no,
overkill?
no. I think if I put some time into it, I might be interested, but I'm like super lazy, so no.
Wait,
I-
what is that?
Tor, the Onion router,
No, I never heard of it.
it's like the browser that allows you to access the dark web.
Oh,
But it also protects like it completely protects all of your browsing. Like you can go visit other websites as well. It doesn't have to be on the dark web.
It's supposed to be what, a modified version of Firefox or something, but really slow.
I'm not sure. I'm not qualified to talk on it.
Yeah, like I installed it once in high school, realized there's no reason for me to use this at all, really, because the type of stuff you need to access with it, not. But yeah, well, I guess that's the cost of privacy. For a lot of people, it's just not worth the effort they find. Like,
Yeah.
I get a lot of benefit out of giving my data to Google.
what
I'm
are the
aware
benefits?
everywhere, but now I can see where I've been because I don't remember where I've been.
Okay, so like just as a way to keep track
Yeah,
of your internet presence.
or my physical presence. Is there timeline?
Right.
So you consider the convenience worth losing a bit of privacy?
Somewhat. Now, we're giving up more than we realize. So it's probably not fully worth it. But I don't know. In my not knowledgeable thing, it just feels like it often. So this is something James and I had been discussing of just like people, if you actually know about privacy stuff and you bring it up in conversation, they kind of give you a strange look of why are you putting all this effort into hiding stuff? Why do you know about the dark web? Are you buying drugs? Are you accessing the child pornography? And so just oftentimes that's another it feels like you don't want to actually bother with it because just people will they'll look at you funny. Wow. It's the whole, if you have nothing to hide, why are you bothering it? And it's just people they miss the whole ideological reason of doing it. But would you like to elaborate, James?
I guess I think the nothing to hide argument is like total BS.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like a fundamental right. Like so if you like a freedom of speech, right? Like I don't really have many problems with like the government, but I don't think the government I don't think the government should get rid of freedom of speech just because I don't use it. If that makes sense. I don't know if that
Makes sense to me.
yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Is that a valid argument for you?
Yeah, I guess I can
I don't
see
know.
that.
I don't find it like super convincing, but I see where you're coming from.
So you think the nothing to hide argument is like a pretty good argument against privacy?
No, not really, no. But I don't think that countering it with like their analogy to freedom of speech, I don't know if that's like a great counter either. Like
Oh,
if
why do
I
you
were
say
to
that?
argue against it, if I were
Because
to
they're
argue
both in like
against
the
it,
Bill of Rights, right?
yeah.
So
But,
is one like some rights less equal than others?
I mean, they kind of are.
Sure,
Yeah,
I would say
because
so.
you have inalienable rights, and you have your alienable rights. And just because your rights also, they have to interact with other people's rights. Because sometimes your rights takes away from their rights, so then you have to draw the line. So yes, but
What do you mean?
some rights are more important than other rights.
Like
So
not
that means
everyone
other
is.
people's rights, like, but it doesn't trample on anyone's right? You're
Privacy, for the most part, no. Now you could get into the whole greater good of think of the murderers you could capture, blah blah blah, or
Well, here's the thing: is appealing to the Constitution really that great of an argument? Like, is that really what we care about? You just want to be like the law cuck and just well, on the law on page like 384 it says this, so it must be correct.
well, it's page one, right? But so you don't think like you think like other companies and the government should be able to trample on the law? I guess does the law not matter?
um, well, no, but they could they could change the law. So I
So
don't
so
know
like
if appealing to the I don't think appealing to the law is very convincing.
well, I guess I'm not understanding because so you're saying like laws don't matter. It's kind of what I'm hearing. I know that's kind of like a straw man, but
Well, laws can be changed. If I were to try to appeal to something, I try to appeal to sort of like a greater good. Like, where do you want society to go? What do you think would make like the better society? I don't getting caught up in the law. It just seems like laws are like subject to change, and also they're not necessarily like one to one, matching with morality, right? Like for a while, like gay people getting married was illegal, yeah, but I don't think you'd say that like gay marriage is bad, right? So I don't think that I just don't think that appealing to the law is always like a great way to go.
well, I guess I'm saying that it's important because it's my right? Like it's the law, but other people are breaking the law, so I feel
Sure, but okay. Well, I would ask you, why do you think that right is important?
but I shouldn't have to defend it if it's my right?
Um,
Like I think freedom of religion is important, but you're not asking me why I think that, right? Or any of the other multitude of freedoms we have.
I um, okay. I mean, I guess I could sort of see where you're coming from. It's I don't know. I still think that you should be able to answer like why you think it's important. Maybe you don't need to justify its existence, but I mean, if you take a really big interest in this area, I mean, surely you have like a reasoning beyond just it's in the Bill of Rights or wherever it might be.
Okay, let me try to think of an analogy. I've also lost my scout. How do you find all your units? Oh, I found it. Never mind. Let me think.
Like, what purpose do you think privacy serves in context of society? Like, why do you think it's important? If we were to draft up another constitution, why would you include it?
Let me think how to answer.
So I guess to recap, Edward, you're basically saying that like the law should not be the gold standard that we adhere to in terms of like rights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because
for
they're
sure
created by
not.
man and they could have errors.
We had the
And-
Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and we still had slavery for quite a long time.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so your point is that like the moral things that we should appeal to or like follow, adhere to or follow is not necessarily equivalent to what the
Yeah.
law dictates.
You do have. No one can also agree on what morals we need to follow either. So
That's true, but I feel like there's a more like somewhat more straightforward path in terms of morals.
perhaps.
People
It-
might have their different ways of coming about their specific moral rules, but I think on a lot of issues, probably most people can come to agreement. You know, like murder is bad, stealing is bad, slavery is bad.
Most of the time.
So I guess while our guest mulls over this question a little bit more.
Like I have an answer I could give that's sort of independent of the Bill of Rights, but I guess I'll leave them.
Why don't you
I'll give
share
them
it
some
with
time
the
to say.
class?
Do you not? Do you not want to? Do you really want the cheat codes?
Yeah.
He doesn't want your answer to be influenced by his answer.
See, I'm not as eloquent, right? So I can't really defend this, but yeah, I would like to hear your.
I mean,
James, this like
we've
this
already touched on
podcast
it.
though is
Like
like
we've already touched on it before, so I would, but it's sort of like this idea where if you have a very powerful government or company, I guess a very powerful structure in general, and they know a lot about you, and they know a lot about your neighbors, and know a lot about anybody else, the ways that they could sort of subtly change your opinion and your perception of the world. I mean, it could be like huge, right? There's a lot of very subtle ways that someone who knows you very intimately could sort of change how you perceive reality, and it could make their form of propaganda or advertising or whatever they're trying to do like really, really like insidious, you know.
Yeah.
does that help you with your line of thought at all?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, I disagree with just because it's a law, you doesn't make it valid.
But there are stupid laws, right?
Yeah, there are stupid laws. There are just laws, but there are unjust laws.
Like for me, on like a hierarchy, I would put the law at the top, right? Like I would put like the good, in quotation marks at the top. Like what purpose do these rules serve? Um, yeah.
Do you think this is a answer that we come back to later on while you get more time to think about it?
Sure.
Or do you feel like you have an answer?
No, I think we should. I'll pass and come back to me.
Okay, pass on that. I guess moving on, do we have any more things that we want to discuss regarding privacy, or We pretty much covered the major points.
It's not privacy, but the New Zealand government overreach thing's kind of similar.
Oh, with the mosque shootings?
Yeah. It's not, you don't want people seeing that video, but at the same time, you don't want to charge the people who are releasing it.
Yes, charging the people who released it may be going a little bit overboard. I do somewhat agree with people not seeing it though, because whether consciously or unconsciously, it will have some effect on other people's actions in the future. For
Well,
example,
most people see it and say
Hmm?
like, "Oh, this is terrible."
I mean, that could be a response, or they could see it as, oh, I can get some quick fame if I go do this, or whatever. Because you're thinking more like in what a normal person's mind would think usually. But there's like these other variables that could come into play, right?
That's true.
Like, I believe, like, going back into the topic that we love on this podcast, the school shootings and stuff, and just shootings in general, I feel like with the way that the media portrays it so much, it has to have affected some other people's mind. That's why we have so much.
That and suicides go up when they're in the news.
Yeah, so while I do agree with New Zealand's actions, some of them, I don't agree with all of them.
Yeah, I think they're going pretty hard on. Have any of you seen the video?
No,
I try not to actually see videos like that.
Um,
But what's so spicy
Yeah.
about the video besides the obvious?
no, I'm just curious. Yeah, they've gone really hard on censoring. I don't know if I like that. I think it's this really tough line because you don't necessarily want to promote the activities of like the mass murder, but at the same time, if you sort of sweep it under the rug, you sort of you sort of run the risk of making it seem like you're covering this stuff up, right? Acting like these problems don't exist. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, sure. There's a fine balance for it, but it's just hard to figure out what that balance is. Definitely. So I guess with that, we could probably close off this first section of the podcast with politics and privacy. And then we can move on to part 2 where we're kind of bundled together both gaming stuff and finances. So we'll end it off here for now, and we'll see you guys back in a little bit.
and we're back. So we've decided more or less to nix the gaming stuff because all we were going to talk about was new Nintendo Switch stuff, and we don't really care about it at the moment. So instead, James and I are going to talk about the media fast that we've been doing for the last, in my case, 3 months. But what would you like to say, James?
I don't know. Why did you start your media fast?
I got bullied into it.
By who?
People at church, because they were excited to do it, and it's a group activity, and so yeah, they wanted me to do it too, and I ended up doing it.
What'd you have to do in regards for your media fast?
Well, it's a lot more than a media fast, but the media fast in general is just like no TV, no movies, unless there's a reason to watch the movie. It's supposed to be no, like in theory, no games. So I shouldn't be playing Civ, but activity I'm allowing it. But yeah, then also it's supposed to be like no computers, so like no Reddit, no lots of stuff.
Okay, so yours is more extreme than mine.
Yeah.
How does it feel, though?
Wait, hold on. So James,
Yeah.
what are the rules of like your?
Oh, I kind of
like,
just.
your,
Oh, go ahead.
or, like, what are the rules of your media fast?
I kind of just gave up Reddit and like news and. I still watch TV though and movies and play games, but I don't play games as much.
What about social media?
Oh, I don't have any social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back, how did it feel? Did you feel lost at times, not having those things that you were used to?
Yes.
How lost? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how lost were you?
Pretty high. 7?
7?
Yeah. Now, luckily, I didn't use Facebook, so I wasn't lost on that. But just yeah, Reddit's where I got my entertainment. A lot of it. My knowledge of the world, which is pretty bad, but
Oh shoot, I made a mistake. I did the thing that Edward told me not to do.
Which was?
I fast expanded too much and the barbarians got my settler. But anyways, continue.
Well, I kind of gave up Reddit just because I noticed my attention span was like really bad and I couldn't read books anymore. Like I couldn't focus and sit down and read, whereas before I could. And I will say like my attention span has improved quite a lot actually since giving it up. And also I'm no longer super interested about Reddit. Like because I started using it again today, and I don't know, it doesn't really affect me. I don't really care what's going on, and I don't spend hours on it anymore.
Do you
Yeah,
feel
that-
like your interest will go up over time the more you go back into it?
Interest in Reddit?
Yes.
there is a lot of trash on Reddit.
Yeah, I'll say probably not. Or I'm hoping it doesn't. I think I'll just I won't use like the front page anymore. There's just like a few subreddits I'm interested in now that I get like actual useful information on.
Yeah. Yeah, I did find a similar thing with books, although part of that was just I also don't have much time to read anyway in college.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
The ideal thing with Reddit is that you can just sit down for a couple minutes and read it, while books you want to do at least 15. Now that's not how it works out, but I am still reading. I'm in 2 different book groups this semester.
I mean, I'm not talking about that being the lie. I'm talking about if you actually cared about reading, you would put the time into it. But
Yeah,
you actually don't care enough about reading to actually put the time
Yeah.
into it. So
Yeah, well, I've read multiple books. It's not that I've done enough.
I'm just saying, if it's like more important, it would, you'd
Yeah.
put more time into it. That's all I'm saying. Because I hate people who say they don't have time for something. Usually, they do have the time, but they just don't want to do it, and they should just say that they don't want to do it instead of lying to themselves and other people.
Yeah, we all have the same amount of time.
I definitely wish I did more reading for sure.
Wait. How about this? Since we
Yeah, I'm not
say-
doing it.
No, you're not starting today. You're not starting today.
Don't even try.
You know me too well.
What? Book group?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say we should read a book and then discuss it, but I don't
Jack,
know.
have you read the book I asked you to?
I've started.
Which one?
The law book, first law book.
Oh
Okay,
my
wait.
god. Actually, the law cook. Okay.
No, I think it's a storybook. It's not like an actual,
Oh,
It's called The Blade itself.
okay.
And what do you think so far?
I mean, I've only gotten into like the first couple of pages, so I don't really know what to think
Oh, okay.
about it. But I will tell you more afterwards because I'm gonna pick up a big chunk of it this weekend. So
That's sweet. Okay. But I don't know if you guys have experienced the same thing where, like before, I would pick up my phone, look at it, and then put it down, and then pick it up right after. Do
Yeah.
you guys experience the same thing?
Yeah, there's nothing good on Reddit. Let's close Reddit. What's on Reddit? I'm bored.
Yeah.
only at work. Only
Yeah,
at
I
work.
definitely do that. In general, I try to keep myself preoccupied with a couple of different hobbies to prevent that from happening, but sometimes, boredom gets the better of you.
Well, do you want to pick up a hobby instead then? I know we've discussed hobbies in the past.
Depends on the hobby.
Do we have any brainstorming ideas of what might be a good hobby?
What hobbies
Besides,
do you guys have?
they talked about yoga. they talked about knitting. I actually took it up.
I mean, Adrian's doing yoga now.
No, I mean,
Oh.
I did it like a few times and now I just sleep in.
I mean, you've committed enough to actually go buy the mat, so.
Well, I mean,
That's
that's
quite
easy,
the
right? I saw it
commitment.
at the store, so.
I spent $80 on a Lululemon yoga mat.
Why would you go to Lululemon?
I don't. He is a basic white girl. It's shocking how much he is.
Whoa, I have like an $80 mat. Okay, chill.
What is the first thing you build when you start a new city?
The Constitution, apparently.
The Constitution. A builder. But I don't know. Like, I don't even know what hobbies would be fun. It's because like the hobbies that I would potentially want to try don't even come up into my mind because I can't even think of them because I like in a million years I would never think I would try something like that. So it's just
What
hard.
kind of hobbies do you have now?
Hobbies I have now is yoga, writing, and I've been going weightlifting recently as well. If you can count cooking as a hobby, that is another one. But that's mainly it so far. You can't spread yourself too thin when you're working the 9 to 5 pencil pushing job. Anyone else want to share theirs that they've picked up that's different from before? Or I guess since our guest is here, might as well refresh our
I'd
memory.
like to pick violin up again, but
Violin. I always thought of you more as a cello boy.
nah, cello's too big.
Do you just like the sound of the violin more, or is it
That's
just
just the one I picked back in elementary school.
that's right, before you even knew what you were getting yourself into?
Yep.
James, do you have anything you want to share?
I like to paint and read.
Paint. What have you been painting? Just like
I don't know, memes mostly.
memes? Do you
Whatever.
have Pepe?
I do actually. It's
Yeah.
actually this is my proudest painting. I will share with the group.
Okay.
Let me take a picture.
Okay. Let's see what this Pepe looks like. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking that we should pick something up.
I'll just send it to you, and you can share it with everybody else. Tell me if you know what the painting is.
But you were about to say something?
It's Pepe. It's Pepe in the Van Gogh style.
It is actually. Have you seen mine?
I don't respect privacy. No, it's just a guess.
All right. Let's see.
I also like to do puzzles now. They're really fun and like relaxing.
Oh, this classy Pepe image.
Some of like the 3D puzzle things, like the little like toys or whatever, those actually seem kind of cool.
Oh, like where you make like a structure.
Yeah, it'll be like some kind of like 3D object that you have to move around or something. I don't know, there's like different kinds of them, but
Did you share it
Yeah.
with them, or do
No,
I have to share
I think you'll have to do that, Jack.
it? Okay. What's stopping you from pursuing it more?
Pursuing what more?
The 3D puzzle stuff.
That's for Edward, right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh.
right, Pepe.
I'm not that interested in it. There's other things I'd rather do.
So it's like just a surface level interest, is what you're telling
Yeah,
me.
I just think they're kind of cool from afar, but I'm not doing.
Mm.
I've been doing like digital sculpting stuff in ZBrush. Pretty cool.
Oh, the artist. One. All right. So it seems like the hobbies things has fallen a little bit flat. So let's move on into finances and see what our expert here can what insights our expert here can give us. So I'm gonna let Edward do this one as well, since he seems to be the one most interested in this, so
Yeah.
I'm taking the
So,
wheel.
how much do any of you read about like finances? How much do you follow it?
I
Uh,
probably read a lot more than the average person. I don't know. It's interesting to me, so it doesn't feel like work or like I have to do this.
For me, it feels like I'm kind of still surface level. So if I like on a scale of 10, I would say I'm a 4. Simply because I think a lot of the stuff out there right now seems like budgeting tips, and I feel like I don't need a budget because I think I keep track of my money well enough where I don't actually need one. So some of that turns me off, but aside from that.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like the surface level stuff is about budgeting, but when you get higher than that, there's a lot of like good tips and tricks, I guess. How to.
Have you read of any like good budgeting tips? Do you follow any, or do you think it's sort of just like beginner stuff?
I think budgeting is important, and if you don't have a budget, like that's like some good things to read about. But oh, Jack, don't do this. Don't take my settler.
No, it's my settler, boy. I'm taking it back. So if you want to fight me for the settler, I will fight you for the settler.
Jack, this is my settler. I've been chasing him.
If you look at, we're gonna go to war already.
How about this, Jack? I'll give you the settler if you ally with me.
You don't give me anything. It rightfully belongs to me.
Okay, we'll see about that. But yeah, I think budgeting is like pretty important, and if you don't have one, like you should definitely try to look into that.
So which one do you use then? If you say budgeting is so important, is there like a preferred one that you can share with a group, like that you like?
What do you mean? I guess I'm not
Well,
sure.
Like you said, budgeting is important, right? So I'm assuming that you have a budget system as well. So I'd be curious to know what that budget system would be.
Oh, mine is like super. I guess basic. I don't know if it'll be what you're. Like I don't know. I just write down all of my fixed expenses, and oh, sorry, 1 second.
Oh, he's so high. He's so high.
So high? What do you mean? Are you mad I took the settler?
Oh,
I think it's something you said.
No, no, it is the settler.
Are we gonna get some salt on this podcast?
No, we got the war going on already.
Okay, we got the salt.
We got the salt. So we need some seasoning on this podcast. Before it was all too dry, all too like formal. Nonsense.
Okay.
Now we got some action.
So can you angrily explain your budget?
Yeah, so I don't know. I have a list of my fixed expenses, and they are less than what I make, and that makes my life easy. I don't know.
Well, so okay, how much do you allocate to like savings and stuff like that?
Savings.
You can say percentage of income if that is more comfortable.
Okay.
Well, yeah, just talking percentages. Yeah.
Give me a moment. Let me just add it all up.
It doesn't need to be an exact number. But I mean,
Yeah, like 50%.
wow, you say 50%. That's
Well,
a lot
it's-
higher than like typical, right?
It's easy if I don't know. I don't really like to spend money on things. Like buying things doesn't really make me happy, and I'm like fortunate enough to have like a decent job, so I'm able to save a lot. And you can save a lot more because the government allows you to save a bunch of things in tax advantaged accounts. And so if you save it, you pay less taxes, so it's easier to save more money, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Okay. Robert, do you have anything?
I mean, I don't have finances at the moment, so I will soon enough. But my focus will just be getting rid of debt, saving a bunch of money as much as possible, almost as much. But I don't think I'll have a roommate, so there's that.
What about you, Jack? How much do you save?
Well, I do the standard 401k Roth IRA stuff. But I don't know what percentage I can say that I'm saving. Just because of the fact that it's also spread out, I'm not sure. And I think I'm at the moment I'm still trying to have like a safety net, so I'm
Like an emergency fund.
yeah, an emergency fund,
Yeah.
so I'm not looking too heavily into that quite yet.
That's important to have.
Yeah, you shouldn't necessarily put like all of your savings into like these accounts that you can't access very easily, right? Like
Yeah.
it's good to have money liquid.
Yeah.
Um, so James, since you're saving so much of your money, do you have like a specific amount that you're looking to save for? Like if you're if you're looking towards like retirement, how much money do you think you'd need to
I think mine is so I want like 60 to 80K when I'm retired. I think that's like 1.6 million. So that if I save that much, I can withdraw that much annually and not have my principal go down. I don't know if I used all those words correctly.
I think so. It seems like the right terminology to me.
Okay. So you subscribe to this like I guess it's called FIRE, Financial
Yeah.
Independence Retire Early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is something that sort of came up in like I think it was first sort of starting to be researched a bit in like 1998. Have you read any of the Trinity study? Or looked
Oh
into it
yeah,
at all?
that's where the 4% rule comes from.
Mm,
Is that
Yeah.
what you're referring to?
yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I got my number of like 1.6 million.
Okay. Um, at roughly like what age do you think you'll be able to get this by?
Right now I think it's wait, just a quick let me get a quick side. Isn't a what's better against a warrior, like an archer or a spearman?
I think an archer is usually
Wait,
good.
wait, hold up! Don't help him against me.
He's fighting you.
Don't help him against me. Oh god. I just hope the barbarians just come and mess him up. That's all I'm hoping for.
Spearmen are really good against horses.
But sorry, what were we saying?
The
What
Trinity
age would I
study.
be? I think it's like 43 right now, and no,
43.
that's assuming I get no raises, which I hope I would.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that
1.6
include
million.
like wife and kids?
What's up? Well,
Like-
will that account for wife and kids? I think it'll change if I have kids and I want to save for their college.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think for what I've seen from like the latest Trinity study updates and stuff, it seems like the 4% rule sort of decreased to being like a 3% rule. Have you looked into that at all?
Oh, I have not, but I figure that if I like if I quit work, I will be like super motivated to never go back again. So I might be more conservative and take the 4%, even if it is a 3%. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you, like, are you planning on retiring completely, or just like from full-time week?
I think I want to retire completely, but I don't think like I'd be interested in teaching. I think that'd be like really fun and fulfilling. So I might do that, and that would bring in more money. But I plan to not have to work ever again.
Let's see. Does anyone else have opinions on fire? Do they want fire in their lives?
Not. Eh.
What's the reason for the eh?
I don't know. I have a feeling in my mind I'm just going to work forever.
Well, I guess considering your plans, I can see why.
do you want to share with the class?
The whole Catholic have a family, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Can't you still retire if you have a family?
Yeah, eventually I'm going to retire. Hopefully, just who knows when.
Jack, what's your opinion on fire?
Fire is a nice idea. I agree that it is a good goal to strive towards. I would like to reach a semi-fire state as well, with stopping what I'm doing currently right now and then going into something more for fun. So along with James's thing, I want to go into teaching as well, probably 40s-ish too. So I will still have an income at that time, but to supplement like the retirement fund, so I won't be like full no work at all. So that's like my ideal situation here. Then- So I guess in terms of other financial things, what else should we keep in mind, I guess, when looking into stuff like that? Any other advice, like what accounts are good, or like what other investment options are good? Anything like that?
I guess saving in your tax advantage accounts. Well, okay, so I think first you should have like a 1 month emergency fund, and then you should pay off any like high interest debt, and then have a 6 month emergency fund. And then after that, I think if you want to get more serious about saving, I would definitely look into tax advantage accounts over like just regular brokerages for your money, because the benefits of having a tax advantage account are like huge versus just saving it in a regular brokerage.
What are some examples of these tax advantaged accounts?
Like for example, one moment, I just got a new government. Like for example, like a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, where you can buy like mutual funds and stocks. Those are tax advantage. So a traditional IRA, you defer your taxes and you pay less taxes now, and when you take out the money, you'll pay taxes on the money that you get that you're taking out. And a Roth IRA is you pay taxes now, and your contributions will grow tax free, and you will be able to withdraw the money out tax free as well.
I see. So is there, I guess, is there an advantage between getting taxed now versus taxing it later? What's usually like the better option?
I guess it all depends. I think if you are planning to retire early, the math makes sense for you to do a traditional IRA, just because when you do retire, your income will be a lot less. And I guess if you think you'll make more in retirement, you can do a Roth IRA and pay more taxes now, but like none later.
Oh, okay. So if you're going with the fire plan, it might be better to go with the traditional.
Oh yeah. So I did not do the math, but I can link you to a website that does the math for you, and it shows that a traditional IRA is actually better if you want to go. That's assuming your the money you have in retirement will be less than what you make now.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I'll have to look into it.
So are there any other financial topics that you'd be interested in asking, Edward, or is that pretty much cover it all?
So the one big issue with fire is if we hit like a recession or something and it lasts a while, it could really like screw everything up, right? That's like the big worry. Right, like if the whole like economy or like all of the stocks go down, and you have to keep withdrawing at like a roughly the same rate to keep your house or wherever you're living,
Yeah.
you start to eat really deeply into your giant chunk of money. and that could like mess you up for a long time.
I guess like I'm probably not the best person to talk about this, but I think the Trinity study takes into account that, and that's why the 4% rule was created. It like accounts for ups and downs in the markets.
Okay.
So as long as you don't sell everything when you lose, like the markets crash, right? Like you just keep taking 4%, and you can wait it out, right? And so the markets will hopefully rebound by then.
Okay.
Where can you build an encampment?
I'm not sure.
Because it's only. Oh, okay. Just camping next to the city center.
You're the Civ master. All of us are Civ plebs.
Yeah, but I don't normally do much military stuff because I'm normally single player.
Sorry. So any other topics for finance?
Wait, hold on. One more question.
Okay.
What proportion of your monthly income do you think you should be spending on rent?
On rent?
Yeah.
Are we trying to get into like specific locations? I think 30%.
Well, like, do you think 30%?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just asking for the percentage, but yeah.
Yeah, like I think like 30% is like the given, but if you live in like a super low cost area, like a rural state, you can spend a lot less and get a lot more. Whereas if you live somewhere like in a big city like San Francisco or something, you'll probably expect to spend more than 30% on your rent.
Yeah. But if you're trying to save like 50% of your income, then probably you're going to need to go a lot lower than 30%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have to say on it.
All right. So I guess this is a pretty long podcast already. But so do you guys want to do the question or save it for next time?
I mean, I don't mind continuing going since we're in a game.
What about everyone else?
I'm
Good.
cool with it. Usually the question doesn't take that long, so.
Sure. But so James and I discussed this some time ago before the podcast, but it's about the Maslow hierarchy of needs and where your specific placement on it currently is. So I'm gonna go first and say that my placement would probably be on the second highest tier. I guess I forget what it's called, so let me pull up the diagram here real quick. But it's the esteem tier, where you need to get a feeling of prestige and accomplishment. So I think I'm currently at there. I think my foundation is pretty stable right now. Everything is just peachy, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So
I don't mean to sidetrack, but I just saw the picture of the Pepe, and it actually is the Van Gogh style.
is it?
I don't even know.
I think I'm more.
God?
What?
You're God. That's all.
No.
That's all we can say.
What did you think it was good? Was it well done?
Looks pretty good to me.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
Edward, why didn't you accept my trade offer?
Oh, did you ask me for a trade offer?
Yeah, I offered you money for marble.
Wait, does anyone want to go to war against James with me?
No, I have to wait for next turn to accept it.
Can I? No, you can just you can redo your turn if you click on the Earth thing.
Do you really need my marble that bad?
No, I'm selling you marble.
Why are you?
Jack, should we make a peace treaty?
See, this is the thing that's wrong with the world.
What are you going to give me for going to war with James?
What do you want? What do you
Robert,
want?
I thought we were going to war against Jack.
What do you want?
I don't know. What do you have? I've never met you.
That's harsh. Let's see. Well, someone answer the question or think about the question. Answer the question while we do this.
I think
All
I'm
about
more.
the Civ
It
stuff.
feels like I'm more on the third tier. the belongingness and love needs.
Do you not think we're good enough for you? Is that what you're saying?
Just even if you are, that doesn't mean it'll feel like it's enough.
Hmm. Edward?
I don't actually know what the tiers are. That's up to them.
Yeah. Just take a quick look. I guess James can go with his since we've discussed this before.
Yeah,
He has a
I don't
better
know.
idea.
I'd say I'm at the top because the last three, right? I don't have it pulled up, or
Yeah.
based on your opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say I was at the top because I quite enjoy my life. I don't know, pretty nice.
Yeah. Sometimes I fluctuate up to 4.
I mean, that's a good thing for
Yeah.
both of you guys. Just as long as you're happy with where you are right now, nothing else really matters.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not having safety issues, at least.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I'm judging my life by like a pyramid, I'd probably be on like tier like the third or second, or from the top, third or second. But
How many
at the
are
same
on
time,
There's 5.
Okay.
but at the same time, I actually am pretty happy with my life, so I don't know if this is like the best judge. You know?
So I guess just as a recap of like what the tiers are, the first very lowest tier is like physiological needs, like your basic survival stuff like food, water, warmth, rest, stuff like that. Next tier is safety needs, so like security, safety, whether you like feel at ease or not at times. And then the third one is belongingness and love needs, so just like good relationships with other people, whether it be like a significant other, friends, family, etc. Feeling like accepted and like you belong with them. The other one, the next one is esteem, as I said, prestige, feeling of accomplishment, feeling like you've done something significant with your life and you've like proven yourself basically. And then the very top one is self-actualization, and that's achieving one's full potential, whatever that may be, including creative activities and other things. So you're basically like, at that point, you get to choose what you want to pursue and choose like the interests that you want, etc.
No, I mean, I guess. I mean, I think it's weird because I feel like I meet the standards of the top tier. Like, I don't think that there's any constraints on what I can do. You know.
So basically, what you're saying is that this pyramid should be a more amorphous shape, where the previous tiers are not ordered correctly, because you can have some of the top level stuff without having some of the intermediate levels fulfilled.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Well, I guess this is just what we're like basing it off of, though. So it's fair for you to say that you've achieved or you're at the top tier, but not having some of the middle stuff. So that's fair. All right. So with that, I think it's probably a good point to stop it. This is pretty long already. Do you guys have anything closing comments? Any other final thoughts before we shut it off for this week?
Yeah. Do you want to make peace?
No?
No.
Well,
I didn't start this war.
Well, that's what you say, and that's what they all say. But
Where even are you guys?
I'll tell
I'm
you
like-
if you ally with me.
I'm on the very south, so we can like pincer him.
No.
But
Okay, I think this is just like a southern pole continent then.
well, it seems like we're going more towards the game now, so I think this is probably a good place to stop it. Thank you, James, for coming on as our guest for this week. We really enjoyed having you share your knowledge and stuff with us regarding a variety of different topics. So, if you guys do like James, we may bring him back in the future. So we'll just have to see.
Well, it's up to
when
James. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk things out. We'll talk things out.
And we do have at least listener at this point, so
Yeah.
Shout out to our one listener. Yeah.
Shout out.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Click the like button.
Let us know that you're out there somewhere.
Subscribe if you feel the need to. Yeah. We'll end it here. We'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks.